The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all back to an excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more, we go into the breach, dear friends.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Something's up. Don't know what it is. That's okay. Yeah, well, we'll see what it is. Everything acting kind of wacky today. We'll see what's going on. I don't have any. Well, we'll see. Anyway, what do we have? S&P up 5 points. And of course, one of the strange things going on is we don't have any volume up or down in the market right now. About let me update this just to make sure. 3.2 billion shares on the consolidated U.S. equities market volume summary from the CBOE. We've been kind of doing right around 6 billion shares, whether the market goes up or the market goes down. So we're not really getting a lot of clues from volume. We're not getting a lot of follow through from commodities like gold today. Just not a lot of signals, and generally a good time to sit on your hands. It is one of those days where I'm thinking very much that I don't work for regular wages, like Jesse Livermore said. So therefore, I should wait until I get that big fat pitch. Right now, the signal's very strange, and it is problematic to actually kind of see that. Let's see what else we have that I'm looking at here, and that is, let's go back to this. Dow's off 2, NASDAQ's up 19, and of course we're going into earnings again this week. We'll talk about those today a bit, but it's just not much happening until we get those earnings. Google after the bell tonight. We'll bring a chart up of that soon enough. But you can always give me a call. Good day to give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. And of course, you can always put a message in the den. So to what? Okay. What do I want to do here and start talking about? Now, let's just do a little history, and then we'll start looking at some charts.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
And on this day in 1976, members of the American Legionnaires arrive in Philadelphia to celebrate the bicentennial of the United States. And soon after, many began suffering from a mysterious form of pneumonia. Their ailment would be known as Legionnaire's disease. The Center for Disease Control immediately launched an investigation, but it took 4 months to identify the culprit. Joseph McDade, a CDC research microbiologist, finally isolated the bacteria that caused the disease, an aquatic microorganism found in watery places like pipe and air conditioners. And of course, these things don't happen overnight. It takes a long time, special conditions to make sure that all the delivery ducts, I think they're called in the heating and air conditioning business, have to be very special. And in this case, it was a older auditorium that had some water leaks that had come in and started to have found some places in the air conditioning ducts. It is still one of the most underdiagnosed diseases that you can get, with only about 1 in 10 being correctly diagnosed as Legionnaire's disease. Of course, it inversely affects the weakest among us. And of course, American Legionnaires, these guys were, a lot of them were fighting in the First World War. Some of them have been through both World Wars. And, they were up in their 70s and 80s already. It didn't take much. If I remember right, there were 26 dead within the week, and a handful more died before. And now you find it just about everywhere, from cruise ships to big buildings. But on this day in 1976, started having people get sick normally about 2 days to 10 days before you get any symptoms. But that'll be it. Anyway, let's go ahead and start looking at charts. Where's my little chart here? Let's go ahead and get these things up and running. As we said, Google after the bell. Google, to me, looks almost desperate in some of the actions these guys have been taking. I horribly dislike the energy off this May 3rd low, all the way back up to this 221 high. That is 221.59. So we're what? 24 bucks, or we're 24 bucks above the January 29th low before the market started coming back down. But certainly from that 107.89 low on May 3rd, just hasn't done much in the way of really having a lot of juice. He had a couple of days, but other than that, nothing that strong. So when I keep looking at this, I keep looking at the light energy on the way up. But I spend a lot of time during the day watching YouTube videos about programming and math and science, things that I can apply to a lot of the research I'm doing, from machine learning to just straight programming to get the stuff out. And now they are, if you don't pay for the red service, which is what, 10 or 12 bucks a month, these guys are going all Stalin on you and putting as many ads in the videos you're watching and prior to the video you want to watch. And it is almost desperate to force you into buying into their service. I've got a little add-on that makes sure and clips those out, but I still see when they would force them upon me. And kind of interesting. Anyway, don't see much in the way of growth. They've got their $5 billion fine with the EU. It may be a lot more in the coming years, but a lot of these big FANG stocks, Microsoft not included, a couple others, really have issues with potential issues with their abusing their monopoly status, and certainly Google does in Europe. That's the $5 billion. The question is whether or not there's going to be another $5 billion in the near future. Anyway, we'll be back in a little bit, and we'll start talking about more about earnings this week. And we've got a lot of charts to look at, but kind of in a holding pattern until we get a few more of these out. Anyway, be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And got a request to look at Canopy Growth Corporation. For some reason, this ticker comes up with the wrong name for the company. That I think the ticker's right. I mean, the data's right. CGC is the symbol. And what do we have? The question is whether this thing has got a bottom. And it's hard to tell. This thing is going to trade pretty much like Bitcoin does. There's not a lot of there. GWPH. If I was going to trade any of these, I'd actually trade something that's not got an ambiguous legal issue. And right now, I suspect that the rest of those marijuana stocks will also bottom, but you're going to need a retest, I think, this low. GW Pharma sold off fairly good after it got its provisional improvement for one of its first drugs. And I just think that a lot of those stocks, people are kind of nutty in the weed business. Not a lot of P&E talk, let me put it that way. Mostly just that it's so big a business that we've got to get in. Not a lot of thought about how much money they're making or going to make. So that always makes me a little nervous. GW Pharma is the one company that actually has a license to make drugs out of it. Of course, they came out with their drug and the thing instantly sold off. 130.50 is out here, but I would say that if you're looking for bottoms in some of these very speculative marijuana stocks, I would probably suggest that you look for a bottom in GWPH first to corroborate it. But there's just not a whole lot other than people, as far as I can tell, all the marijuana stocks are no different than Bitcoin or Beanie Babies. Everybody's into it. Everybody's talking about it. For me, I want everybody to shut up about it. When they're not talking about it, it goes sideways. That's where I suspect that I'd want to be involved in something as speculative as the marijuana stocks are. So just one man's opinion. I don't think that there's enough history with them. I know a lot of people want to trade IPOs, and without any history, how do you know how a stock's going to act? And then, why they've had a little bit of time, there's not a lot. I would rather have one stock that I knew had a very good chance of working out than trying to gamble on stocks that don't have a lot of history. And maybe you're using some other technique that sees through all that and sees marijuana stocks and their future movements. But using all the techniques I use for other stocks, I can't see that they trade any different than Bitcoin or Beanie Babies or the other ton of stuff that's come out before it. So, we'll see. Okay, what else do we have? Someone wanted me to look at Apple again. We did talk with Apple. I saw that they were briefly talking about it on some of the financial infotainment shows today, and that is Apple released a new laptop that having probably some fairly significant problems when you're talking about a $6,000 laptop. Not a lot of reaction to it. Opened a little lower. It's not doing a whole lot or different today. So that'd be about it. So what else do we have? Keep those cards and letters coming into path at TFNN.com. Question about earnings tonight. Let's go pop. Oh, wrong one. Let's go ahead and open that and get to earnings. Because Google wasn't the only thing coming out after the bell tonight. Okay. Have Google, TD Ameritrade, Steel Dynamics, Whirlpool, Cadence Design System. In the morning, Lockheed Martin, LMT. Yeah, got a little reversal signal on this one. These aren't much of reversing candles. You'd like these things probably be at least another 50% larger on the way up and down, but kind of small versions of either call a tweezer top, or sometimes they call them railroad tracks. And not much of a railroad track, so I'm not going to put too much on this right now, especially going into earnings tomorrow morning. I don't see a lot that is changed for Lockheed Martin. Most of these things are long-term contracts for them. They've got some things that they're working on long-term, but again, those are 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 years down the line. Not a whole lot new in this. There's also always been some talk about them setting back up and building a new YF-22, which is the best airplane ever made for combat, but not a lot of talk about that. Everybody's kind of married to the F-35 now. But other than that, not a lot else going on. And energy is about the same on the way up. It's on the way down. Kind of interesting to see some saber, he said, rattling as we look into this, and it's down today. So I don't know what you make about that. What else do we have? We have Verizon coming tomorrow morning, Biogen, Harley Davidson, JetBlue, Sherwin-Williams before the bell, Eli Lilly, Waters Corporation. Tomorrow night we've got AT&T, Texas Instruments, iRobot, Teradyne, Hawaiian Holdings, Stryker. That one seems to move. I haven't looked at that one. SYK. They, of course, are big purveyors of artificial knees and hips. As we get older, it's kind of hard to think their business just doesn't get better. But the chart, not all that exciting. Came down with 4.5 million shares back on the 11th of June. You went to 161.82. You've come back up on fairly light energy, you're just kind of playing around here. I don't know what they're going to show. But again, one of these things where it's hard to see where energy is really, I mean, not energy, but the backlog of people that are going to need artificial knees and hips is getting any smaller. But what can you say on that? Anything else out here I wanted to take a look at? Boeing on Wednesday. I know a lot of people are continuing to pile on Boeing and think that this is the end of this company. Again, not a lot of energy off these lows, but Boeing is probably as close to a monopoly as anything is. They only have one competitor, so at worst they're a duopoly. But with Airbus's 380 not selling any units in 2.5 years, I don't know other than as a state-sponsored entity that it exists at all. Anyway, we'll be back in a minute. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
The Path of Least Resistance, David White's daily market letter, gives you trade recommendations based on David's proprietary power law vector indicator that put the odds of success overwhelmingly in your favor. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price for each stock and option trade. David combines his years of trading experience along with his background in technology and computing to offer his subscribers his take on the markets on a daily basis. Every trading day by 9:30, David publishes his morning issue of the Path of Least Resistance, along with updates sent out throughout the week whenever there is new actionable trading information. All new subscribers receive a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. To sign up for David White's daily trading newsletter right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Start going through some of the ones I was looking at. Where are my lists? Scans. 20th. Yep, that is the right one. take another look at Adobe. We've been talking about this one for a few days as it just hangs up at the highs. Little lighter volume. Again, almost all these look like there's not a whole lot of juice up off these last lows. This one is the July 25th low at 235.87. But again, no real signal out here that says that you should sell these before earnings. But again, no volume at the top. AKS, which is AK Steel. This one's finally getting back over $5 today. And I think if I looked at, what is it, CLF from Friday, we'll look at that one too. I think it continued. So it's one of the few sectors out here that I found that did have any continuation through. Yeah. But I think everybody's pretty sure that we've got GDP. Somebody in the den's bringing up the ECB and the GDP this week. I think everybody's figuring out that the GDP is going to be real close to 4%, and the ECB probably not going to do anything. I think earnings much bigger thing, although we may have 30 minutes or 1 hour of action around those two data points from the GDP and the ECB on Thursday at 8:45 and 8:30 with the GDP numbers on Friday. But April 26th, that 11.4 million shares. Today, you have 10 million shares, which looks like you're going to beat it. And even some other days out here, you got into it with a lot of volume. 33 million shares on the 31st of May that spiked it and kind of gave it up. So you've been kind of knocking at this door with AK Steel. Let's take a quick look at CLF too. I think it was someone reminded me of it. The downside of CLF is you've got the second big gap up, so you could have a 3-gap play, and then this thing could be totally over. But a nice continuation day, which we haven't had a lot of in many sectors. So a nice deal on CLF, which is Cliff Natural Resources, which is telling you that at least if this is true and not just a fake head fake in this, that trade issues are going to get resolved sooner rather than later, that people are buying natural resources and steel, and things looking a little better than most people think. Of course, today is the first day of options rollover. And you know what? We still got a lot of stocks out here not doing much of anything, which is kind of weird. Generally, on these days, you get a lot more volatility coming out of these. Now, while we brought up big things that are going to happen, the next big thing that's going to happen too, after we get GDP numbers on Friday, is we go right into fund buying. So if you get good fund buying and you get a adequate GDP number, I don't see any reason why at the end of this week we haven't at least tested 28.45 to 28.60 on the S&P cash, and maybe even tied the highs if earnings are good. Google starts it today. I think we're going to just inch our way up there, and there's probably not going to be a lot of volume. But you know what? If you hang out at highs, you normally go test them. And I think that's what we're going to do this week. What else did I want to look at? Well, look at a few more of these out here on my list. Beckinson Dickinson, bookings.com. Take a quick look at that one. Now, Bookings Holdings is showing 2,000 as kind of a nice little ledge out here on light volume. So again, energy is about the same up as it is on the way down on Bookings. So real tough to jump up and down. Testing it on lighter volume today, 176,000 shares. So you've got just about everything you want in that. Low risk if you wanted to go long on it. I still suspect, though, that that this and Expedia, Expedia, EXPE, Expedia, and Bookings.holding. If everything falls apart, these are probably going to be the worst hit on any kind of trade issues. But again, these things don't show any real sign of weakness. These things probably should have fallen apart first. Bookings.com, the old Priceline, certainly the weaker of the two. But you don't have a lot of juice on the way up. You don't have a lot of juice on the way down. These things just continue to kind of hold out. We talked about Con last week also, which is kind of a combination of buy here, pay here, and Best Buy. It was testing previous highs. That $37.80 high from December 7th, 2017 at 2.5 million shares. You got into it with 1.4 million shares. Yesterday or Friday, 257,000 shares and 270,000 today. So you're hanging out at these highs. There's, this thing had a giant move back on the 7th of June with 3.6 million shares. Since then, just kind of coming out of it. So maybe wildly oversold and wildly overshorted. You want to make sure and keep an eye on that one and see how much shorting is coming in. See what else is on my list. It seemed interesting. CSX, which I think they have earnings this week, don't they? Or was it already? Yeah, it was already. Okay, so they gapped up. This is the second big gap up in CSX. So probably look for one more. And for that possible 3-gap play, I certainly wouldn't be short this until you did get the next 3-gap play. Yeah, something like that. To the CSX. So anyway, you had the big gap. You had some juice. This thing's kind of gone up a little higher. Not much juice today. 4 million shares compared to the 8.6 million shares we had on Friday. So, we're pretty much through these days, but there's a lot of these things could come back and test these gaps. That would be about $66 on that one. See what else we have out on here. I know this one's a big fan for the day traders, which is ears. This thing's kind of come back down to nothing, 26 cents and gone sideways. We'll take a look at eBay. Come back. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks! Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Plant is full here at capacity according to MP. Not sure about AKS. Okay. Now, looks like that is an interesting business. eBay, we were talking about this gap down. Don't see, let's go back a little further and see if there's anything back here with eBay. Of course, PayPal, the good part of that business. I keep on trying to every once in a while buy something on eBay, and it seems to just get worse. If anything anybody wants, they'll buy up everything and drive the price higher. I've been looking for some old electronics, and man, they've already run everybody out, bought all the stuff, and now have it back on for double what it was a month ago. So you've got kind of these roving packs of morons messing up the business for eBay. So this goes back into, let's see. Oh, I've got that turned off. No, turned on. Okay. So you're almost back to this 22. Actually, it doesn't look that bad when you look at the November 29th, 2017 low, $33.95. 22 million shares. We're into it with 11 million shares now. Need a close back above $33.95, and you may get that. You're at $33.79. You need only about 20 cents more, and then that is a nice move back down to the low. Unfortunately, this huge volume that you came down on the 18th says the best thing you could do is go sideways on this one for the next 2 weeks and let that all burn off. Right now, a little bit too much. FAS is also on my list. This is the financial bear shares. This is basically at these levels where it's found lows before. The first one was January 29th at 970 with 1.1 million shares. You got into it with more volume on March 13th with 1.85 million shares and bounced out of it. Came back down to it on June 11th again, $9.92 with 1.5 million shares. Got into it with 2 million shares 3 days ago. Today we're at 1.33 million shares. So probably pretty close to a make or break in at least this bear version of the financials. But again, nothing that really shows you these things are falling apart. Oh, somebody in the dent's talking about it. I was actually looking for 500 megahertz oscilloscope probes, and everybody's descended on all the tech probes. Ugh. You should be able to buy them, or used to buy them, for like $50. Someone went and bought them all up and now trying to get $125. So kind of defeating the purpose of eBay. I'm sure everybody that sold them were happy, but now you don't have any real market outside of that. I'm sure he knows what I'm talking about. Those probes can be expensive, $500 new for some of them. But you can normally buy them for 60, 50, $60 used. FBC. Okay, this is like the guy that was the one-upsmanship, which the best one I ever heard was, one day I'll just tell this little story and then we'll go on. Yeah, they sell them for $25,000 a piece, and I'm worried about paying $125 for my probes. There was a guy, or actually a guy, Air Force pilot, who was telling the story, and that he was a pilot. And he says he's listening to the radio out west, and somebody calls the controller for ground speed, and they can give that to you off the radar. And he says, "This is Cherokee, whatever. Can you give me a ground speed?" And he says, "Yes, ground speed is 135." And then somebody apparently next calls and says, "This is King Air so and so. Mike, can you give me ground speed?" And he says, "That's 280 miles per hour over the ground." And then the next guy comes on to the controller, goes, "Can you give me ground speed? This is F-14 so and so." And he says, "You're over there at 635." And then they heard one last phone call, and they said, or one phone call, one last call, and that was special SR-71. Can you give us ground speed over it? And he says, "Yes, that's 2,875 miles per hour." And then no one else called back in. It's always the biggest one-upper I ever heard of. The guy actually flew a SR-71, and everybody trying to one-up each other until the point where there's nobody left. I always thought it was interesting. I'll find the YouTube video on it, but the guy actually talks about it. Pretty funny. Okay, so FBC, don't see much in that. Finish Line, this one was one of these ones that came back from the dead and get bought out. Fossil, another one of these that came back from the dead. Been watching this for a while for a potential short. My theory on this is the business hasn't changed a whole lot for watches. I still don't see many people buying them that would come from Fossil. Now, they did have their own smartwatch version that they came out with, but it hadn't been successful. But this is a company that got this, at one point, I think it got to 65% short interest. And why don't I go ahead and pull that up real quick and take a look at it. Okay. FOSL. Okay. Well, it had a ton yesterday, or on Friday, 25%. So my guess is everybody's getting back on it. Still has 6 days to cover. So as Bonnie Tyler said, it's like standing in a powder keg and giving off sparks. Pretty interesting short position out here. If anything got any better in the market, you could probably easily see a return to $32.17. But my guess is this company's really not worth that much. It's just everybody keeps piling on that one. You got to what, 24.75, and it bounced $3. So this kind of going back over. Eventually, it'll fall back to earth. And we've got a question to take a quick look at Tesla. What's my thought out here? I haven't said, or at least I've said it for probably the last 2 years, and that is Tesla at best is a $40 stock. Kind of gapped down on people raining on Mr. Musk over the weekend. He did the unpardonable sin for people that are really into electric cars and being in California, and that is he got on the wrong side of the political aisle by donating to somebody that a lot of people didn't like. And I think we're going to just see the first of many articles coming out that says that Mr. Musk is the king that wears no clothes. But I've said that for years. But so nothing new here. But you know what? Not a bad looking test of this gap. We'll talk more about it when we come back.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools, as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And what else do we have? Go back through that. I found the YouTube thing. If you ever want to, it's pretty funny if you're into technology or anything. But it's Major Brian Shul, S-H-U-L. If you just Google that in YouTube, you'll find his story about talking about ground speed with the Los Angeles Center by piloting the SR-71 Blackbird over Southern California. What a great story. Okay. Got that. Going through my email here of all the stuff we've talked about. Anyway, we were talking about Tesla when we left. Let me clean this chart up. You gapped up on the 6th of June. You did so with 18.7 million shares. Today, you're just down with 9 million shares. So the problem with all of these stocks that are massively short, like Tesla, and the store, and always on the top of my list every day in my newsletter, where I publish the top shorted stocks of the day before and the 5 previous days to that, 4 previous days to that. You're looking at a fairly decent hanging man out here, which is actually not a bad looking chart. The energy actually a little less on the way back down. Does it hold here? Would I go long? No. But I would say that this is the problem with all highly shorted stocks. You really, if you want to make money in shorting stocks as an individual and not just sit on a position for a year and a half or 2 years, like some of the big short sellers, until your cash comes in. This is one of these ones where, you know, it is just a proverbial pot that never boils as you watch it. But, you know, every time you come down a little bit, you're going to find somebody that wants to actually buy it. And sometimes you just get driven out of the stock itself. See you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. Sell when you can, not when you have to.
TFNN has put together the finest programming lineup each trading day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected financial minds in the nation to educate traders and investors. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we broadcast 8 hours a day, starting at 9 a.m. as Larry Pesavento kicks us off with Trade What You See. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we broadcast 11 hours. Get an early and healthy start to your day as Nico and Paige bring you Living a Primal Lifestyle. Then catch Andy Hecht at 5 p.m. with the Commodities Hour, following the Tom O'Brien Show. Swim lessons from TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim is now at 11 a.m., followed by Basil Chapman at 12 noon. See the TFNN program lineup via the link on the front page of TFNN.com to get a complete overview of our TFNN shows and hosts. And keep TFNN's Tiger TV tuned in on your mobile device, PC, or Mac for the latest financial news and information throughout the broadcasting day. TFNN.com, educating investors.